Hello everyone, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. We have some breaking news here regarding Verizon. It looks like Verizon is in the process of some major layoffs. Looks like we're expected to get some news somewhere around November 20th, according to the article here. Looks like they're going to start letting some employees go and shutting down some retail locations. Looks like underperforming locations will likely be first. There's a lot of employees that are panicking right now. I guess they're taking to Reddit and whatnot, and they're expressing their concerns amid the uncertainty about the extent of the impact. So according to the source here, Verizon may be preparing to join what is a list of U.S. companies cutting staff. Now, this is something that we've grown to expect with companies. Verizon, T-Mobile, at&t, I'm sure are going to join the bandwagon as well, and other large tech companies and retail companies as well. This is something that's kind of been happening where instead of giving you bonuses this time of year, they're giving pink slips out. And that's because they're starting to do the math and they're seeing that they need to cut costs in order to make more profit. This is just the greed of the business world and how these companies work. So it looks like they're planning to close several retail locations and lay off employees as part of a broader restructuring initiative. That is what they're calling it, a broader restructuring initiative. We all know what it's really called. It's called getting rid of dead weight and making more money. It's as simple as that. So Verizon is expected to cut staff and close stores. They have not officially confirmed the plans. The announcement, again, is expected to be made somewhere around November 20th. They're saying details on which stores might close or the number of jobs affected still remain unclear. They're saying, however, sources indicate that underperforming locations could be shut down first, and then layoffs could also impact employees at stores that remain open. They're saying that an alleged employee on Reddit said that it's so crazy to me that the whole company is aware of the layoffs, but unaware where specifically. It's causing panic to almost all employees. So rest assured, they know which locations are being shut down. They just don't want to say anything yet. Maybe they're doing some reevaluating and making sure that these are the locations they want to shut down. They may be adding to the list. They may take some off of the list, but they have a pretty broad idea of what they want to do. They just don't want to make anyone too nervous too yet, I guess, just in case they change their mind or rediscover that maybe the location's doing a little bit better than what they thought, etc. They're saying another employee commented that this year has been an awful experience as an employee, that he's watched his entire market's income reduce significantly. They're saying that the average rep that was pulling $60K a year is struggling to make $45 in his market. They're saying internal chatter is nervous all over and local management essentially putting all the weight and warning on them. Yeah, so retail locations aren't doing as good, right? And there's a lot of reasons why. People are starting to get plans online. They're starting to use chatbots. They're looking to alternatives. I talk about this all the time. Sales are not doing that well for postpaid and prepaid with really any of the big three carriers. They're doing enough to survive, and in some cases, it may look like they're doing better than we anticipate, but for the most part, they don't have much to offer anymore. There's a lot of competition out there doing it better, quite frankly, in my opinion. When it comes to Verizon, you have Total, you have US Mobile, you have Visible. I mean, these deals are phenomenal, and they're in many ways hurting the pockets of postpaid and prepaid. Many are wondering, well, why is Verizon allowing this? Well, I don't know if they're really allowing it. I think they're pretty much trying to get whatever they can. Like I've mentioned, my theory is that they're looking to purchase all these MVNOs, and make deals with these companies so that they can make money. Now, they don't own US Mobile, at least not yet. I mean, you never know what the future holds. But as far as Total and Visible, these are their companies. They still get paid when you pay your bill. They still make money off of these plans. They make a little less, but nonetheless, they're still profiting. So this is kind of where I see things going. And then there's, of course, automation. The article talks about that. We all know that companies like T-Mobile, Verizon, and at&t would love nothing than to have maybe one store with one employee or even just machines, but then that would be too expensive to maintain, right? To pay the mortgage, the rent on retail locations. So they really just want to save as much as they can. If they can get you to do everything online like they do with Visible, it'd be better for them, right? They don't have retail locations to pay rent on. They don't have employees to pay, not as many, right? Now they're trying to maintain an online presence with chat, and they got physical stores. It's a lot of money that they don't need, Now, there are a lot of customers that choose Verizon and they need physical stores. So that's why they're going to look at the ones where customers don't really go in, where they're not bringing in the business, and they're going to axe those first. And then it'll just keep getting reduced over time unless somehow we see a shift in how people shop. They get tired of doing things online and they return to the old school manner of going in and being physically in a store. It's not likely to happen, but it could. That's where only time will tell what's really going to go on. A lot of people are blaming the new CEO, but no, I mean, we've seen this last year. We've seen this the year before. This is kind of a repetitive thing with companies. This time of year, they just like to let people go, and they call it a reshift and refocusing of company. And that's, it's always the same gibberish. That's pretty much all I have for you here. There are other things in this article which you can catch up on, the challenges in the workforce, strategies and cost cutting, etc. So there's a lot of that stuff. A lot of it has to do with growth falling short of analyst expectations in Q3, right? Verizon didn't do as good as they want. So, like I said, they'll play that game and they'll blame that. And maybe that's true, and that's why they need to cut back. And this is where they'll look. Maybe if they did better in their third quarter than they wanted, maybe they would have pushed this off until after the holidays, first quarter of next year, second quarter. Perhaps, maybe not. We don't really know. This could have been in the works a year ago. I feel like this is something they just kind of do yearly now. In my opinion, they do it. They love to do it during the holidays, unfortunately. But let me know what you think about this whole thing, and how much does a retail location matter to you? If you're using one of the big three, do you need a retail location, or do you do most of your shopping with these carriers online? I'm just curious. I might run a poll on this as well, because I'm curious, like in 2025, how many people actually go into the store? Now, I'll be honest, sometimes I need one. Like, even if it's with just Metro or something, like, I like to have one because there are certain things you just can't get done online. Maybe customer support is not identifying with my problem. They don't understand what my clear situation is. They don't get it. So sometimes you need to be face to face with someone and just kind of, hash it out and say, this is what's wrong. I need assistance this way. And sometimes you just can't get that online, right? And for many, it's a deal breaker. If they can't have that, they don't want to be a part of, right, that company. They need to go somewhere else where they can get that kind of assistance. So this could push customers away, definitely. The less stores that they have available could be hurtful to business, but nonetheless, they'll dust their shoulders off and they'll move on because, again, they do this every year. So as always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.